Hello students, this video is about ICSE Grade 7 Chapter 2 Physical and Chemical Changes. In previous part, we discussed about physical and chemical changes, reversible and irreversible changes. In this part, we are going to discuss about endothermic, exothermic changes, desirable, undesirable changes, and we are going to discuss briefly about characteristics of physical and chemical changes. Exothermic changes. The chemical reactions which proceed with the evolution of heat energy are called exothermic reactions. The exothermic reactions are reactions or process that release energy usually in the form of heat or light. Examples: eruption of volcano and burning of fuels. In case of volcano, substance react and the temperature of the mixture is increases. So this reaction is exothermic. Reaction in which heat is given out along with the product are called exothermic reaction. Example: in case of burning of coal, carbon combines with oxygen, forms carbon dioxide and heat. So burning of coal is an example of exothermic reaction. Combustion of any flammable substance is exothermic reaction, as it produces large amount of heat energy. Sometimes exothermic reaction is explosive too, so we have to be very careful. Endothermic changes. The chemical reactions which proceed with the absorption of heat energy are called as endothermic reactions. Example: cooking food and boiling water. We can all appreciate that water does not spontaneously boil at room temperature. Instead, we must heat it. Because we must add heat, boiling water is a process that chemists call endothermic. Because this process needs energy, absorb energy. Cooking of food is also an example of endothermic reaction. If some process require heat, other must give off heat when they take place. So, reaction in which heat is given out is known as exothermic reaction. Reaction in which heat is absorbed is known as endothermic reaction. Next, we are going to discuss about very interesting topic: desirable changes and undesirable changes. First, we discuss about desirable changes. Desirable changes, the changes which are desired to occur, we want them to take place, are known as desirable changes. These changes produce good results. Changes which we want them to take place are called desirable changes. Those changes produce good results. Examples: rain bringing water to the crops results in germination of seeds, change of milk to curd, ripening of fruits, growth of a seedling into a plant are examples of desirable changes. Are you ever analyzed that all the changes happening around us good for us, useful for us? Let's take an example to understand desirable change. Cooking of food is an example of desirable change because we always want cooked food. Nobody wants raw food. We cook food to make it properly cooked so that it does not spoil our digestive system. What about curdling process? Milk turned into curd. So milk turned into thick, tangy, lumpy matter called curd. Curdling is a desirable change. It is a milk product. It is very important for the supplement of calcium, which is required by bones and for many reactions. So cooking of food, curdling process is an example of desirable change. Ripening of banana. Ripening process is also an example of desirable change. Suppose we have raw bananas. I love bananas, but I like only ripened one, not raw one. Okay, when raw banana ripened, they become sweet, very sweet and soft. Is the change good or bad? Yes, of course. Ripened one is good, so sweet, soft, tastier than raw one. So ripening process is an example of desirable change. What about growth of seedling into plant? Yes, of course. It is more useful to the environment. So this is an example of desirable change. Undesirable changes. Changes brought about by a person or by nature which are harmful are known as undesirable or non-agreeable changes. The changes which are most harmful to the environment are known as undesirable changes. Examples: rain causing destruction by floods, soaring of milk are harmful to the environment. Changes that are not useful to us known as undesirable changes. Volcano, earthquake, tsunami are the changes that are not useful to us, harmful to the environment. So these changes are known as undesirable changes. Tsunami, floods. So these things are unfavorable to the environment. Physical change. A change in the shape, size, color or state of the substance. The change only in the physical appearance. State of the substance, shape, size, color. The change is known as physical change. A change in the shape, size, color or state of a substance. Characteristics of physical change. Usually reversible. Most of the physical changes are reversible and temporary. And it is possible to get back the initial form what we used in the beginning of the change. The resultant forms no new substance are formed. Physical change always forms same substance. No energy in the form of heat, light or temperature is emitted during physical reaction. Example: water exists in three different states. Water exists as a solid, liquid, gaseous form. But only the physical appearance of the water changes. Chemical composition remains the same. So this is an example. Chemical change. One or more substances are converted into one or more new substances. Chemical change always yield new substance at the end of the change. Characteristics of a chemical change. Chemical changes are permanent, form new substance at the end of the change. Chemical changes are irreversible, emits or absorb the forms of energy such as heat, light or electricity during a chemical reaction. What happens when sugar is heated? When sugar is heated continuously, then a black powdery substance is formed. The black powdery substance is a new substance, totally different from the substance which you used in the beginning. Okay, so this is an example of chemical change. Some processes that are examples of physical changes are freezing, condensation, evaporation. Freezing, it is a process in which a liquid is cooled to convert it into its solid form. Condensation, it is a process in which water vapors changes to liquid water on cooling. Evaporation, it is the process in which a liquid changes to its vapors on heating. In all these three changes, you are just modifying the state of the substance, physical state of the substance, and the chemical composition remains the same. Freezing, you are converting liquid into solid by freezing, converting solid into liquid by melting. If you carry out condensation, gas vapors convert into solid. Evaporation process, liquids are converting into gaseous form. Solids during sublimations achieves the gaseous form. Gaseous forms reach a solid state by deposition. So these processes, condensation, evaporation, melting, freezing, sublimation, deposition are example of physical changes. In this process, you are just altering the state of the substance without disturbing the chemical composition. Boiling. It is a process in which a liquid is heated to a temperature called boiling point, where it starts changing to the gaseous state. In this change, you are just altering the physical state of the substance without altering the chemical composition. So when you check the chemical composition of the initial substance and with the end product, it will be same. Sublimation. It is the process in which a solid substance changes directly into its vapor state. It skips liquid state. So in this changes also, you are just modifying the physical state of the substance. So this is also an example of physical change. Some processes that are examples of chemical changes are rusting. It is the process in which iron objects react with moisture and air to form a reddish brown substance. When iron objects comes in contact with the immediate environment, it reacts with the oxygen and water molecules present in the moisture and produce iron oxide, which is a rust. This process is known as rusting. Rusting is an example of chemical change. Fermentation. It is the process in which a substance is broken down to release heat and carbon dioxide by the action of microorganisms. So fermentation, at the end of the fermentations, you will get the new substance. So fermentation is an example of chemical change. These food products are undergone fermentation. Fermentation in food processing is the process of converting carbohydrate to alcohol or organic acids using microorganism, yeast or bacteria under anaerobic conditions. So fermentation is an example of chemical change. Curdling. It is a process in which a liquid gets converted to semi-solid mass. So at end of the change, you'll get the new product, and this process is irreversible. Okay, so curdling is an example of chemical change. Cooking. The process in which raw food is cooked on flame to make it tasty and easily digestible is called cooking. So at the end of the cooking, the process, you'll get the new substance which is irreversible, cannot be reversed, and it's permanent. So this is an example of chemical change. Combustion. The burning of a substance in the presence of oxygen to release heat, light and smoke is called combustion. So at end of this process, you'll get totally new product which cannot be reversed and permanent. So this is an example of chemical change. Digestion. It is the process in which food is broken down to simpler substance. So digestion is a chemical change. Because at end of this change, you'll get a new product. Totally new product, cannot be reversed, and it's a permanent one. Thank you so much, students. If you like this video, click the like symbol, share to your friends, subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you.